Bitcoin, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The rise of Bitcoin in recent years has been nothing short of remarkable. This digital currency has revolutionized the way we think about money, and it's had an incredible impact on the financial world. But with all great innovations, there are both pros and cons to consider. In this blog post, we'll look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of Bitcoin to help you make an informed decision about whether or not to use it. What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency, also known as a cryptocurrency, that was created in 2009. It is the first decentralized digital currency, meaning it is not backed by any government or bank. Instead, Bitcoin is powered by its users who generate new coins through a process called mining. Bitcoins can be used to buy and sell goods and services, just like real-world money. Transactions take place on a public ledger called the blockchain, and the transactions are anonymous, secure, and irreversible. Bitcoin is not owned by anyone, instead, it is a global network of computers that run the Bitcoin protocol. With no central authority or middleman, users have full control over their own funds. Transactions with Bitcoin are fast, efficient, and low-cost compared to other payment methods. However, due to its anonymity, some people have turned to using Bitcoin for illegal activities such as money laundering and drug trafficking. How does Bitcoin work? Bitcoin is a digital currency created in 2009 by an anonymous individual or group using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a decentralized, peer-to-peer system, meaning there is no central authority or bank involved in transactions. Instead, Bitcoin relies on a public ledger called the blockchain, which records every single transaction ever made using the currency. The technology behind Bitcoin is known as cryptography, which uses mathematical algorithms to verify and secure transactions. Each Bitcoin transaction must be digitally signed by its sender with a unique private key, and also includes details of the receiver's address. This digital signature is then broadcast to the network and stored in the blockchain, which is distributed across a global network of computers. Whenever a new transaction is made, the information is grouped together into blocks and sent out to nodes for validation. Each node will check the validity of each transaction against previous blocks in the blockchain, and once it is verified, the block is added to the chain. This process helps ensure that Bitcoin transactions are secure, as tampering with past blocks would require access to all computers on the network at once. In essence, Bitcoin works as an alternative, decentralized currency system that requires minimal trust between users and eliminates the need for third-party intermediaries like banks. While there are numerous advantages to using Bitcoin, its anonymous nature also makes it a popular choice for criminals looking to hide their tracks. Since Bitcoin transactions are linked to addresses rather than people, they can easily avoid having their identity revealed when carrying out illegal activities such as money laundering and drug trafficking. Despite this anonymity, however, Bitcoin is still traceable through blockchain analysis techniques. All transactions are publicly visible on the blockchain, so experienced investigators can link addresses with identities if needed. This means that while it may not always be easy to track down criminals using Bitcoin, it's certainly not impossible either. It is important to note though that criminal activity makes up only a small fraction of total Bitcoin activity. Most people use the currency for legitimate purposes such as buying goods and services or investing. Ultimately, it's important to weigh up both the positives and negatives associated with using Bitcoin before deciding whether or not it's right for you. The good. Bitcoin is a revolutionary digital currency that has gained tremendous popularity over the last decade. It has opened up new avenues for people to make and receive payments in an easy, secure, and decentralized way. Transactions made with Bitcoin are completely secure and can be done without having to rely on third-party services or financial institutions. This means that users of Bitcoin can make transactions quickly, without any worry of fraud or identity theft. In addition, because Bitcoin is based on a distributed public ledger called the blockchain, all transactions are immutable and transparent. This means that all transactions can be tracked, verified, and audited. Furthermore, Bitcoin also allows users to have complete control over their funds, as they can store them on their own computer or mobile device in a safe and secure manner. Overall, Bitcoin has revolutionized the way we think about money and has the potential to change the way we pay for goods and services in the future. However, there is a darker side to this revolutionary technology. Despite its ability to track transactions, criminals often use Bitcoin due to its pseudo-anonymous nature. Because most exchanges do not require users to provide identification information, criminals can easily transfer funds without anyone knowing who they really are. Moreover, many darknet markets use Bitcoin as their main form of payment due to its untraceable nature. The bad. The anonymity of Bitcoin transactions has been an attractive feature for criminals and those involved in illicit activities. While it is not impossible to track Bitcoin transactions, it is difficult to do so unless the user leaves a trail of identifiable information. This makes Bitcoin a popular choice for criminals looking to move money around without being traced. In addition to the criminal element, there are other drawbacks to using Bitcoin that make it a less than ideal choice for many people. The decentralized nature of Bitcoin means that it is not backed by any government or central bank, which can make it difficult to predict its value or even convert it into fiat currency. Additionally, Bitcoin transactions are not reversible like credit card payments, meaning users have no recourse if they make a mistake when sending or receiving Bitcoin. Finally, there is still considerable uncertainty surrounding taxation and legal compliance of Bitcoin, which can make it difficult for users to understand the implications of using this type of currency. Although some countries have attempted to regulate cryptocurrencies, there is no consistent worldwide framework for their use yet. Without regulations, it is possible that governments may take action against the use of Bitcoin in certain situations. Despite these issues, cryptocurrency technology continues to evolve and has the potential to revolutionize global finance. As more nations look towards blockchain-based solutions, we may begin to see more regulations surrounding cryptocurrencies, providing more stability and transparency for users. The ugly. Unfortunately, the nature of cryptocurrency transactions has led to its use for criminal activities, such as money laundering, fraud, and even financing terrorism. Due to its decentralized nature, Bitcoin has become an attractive option for criminals looking to move funds anonymously. The anonymity of the transactions makes it difficult for law enforcement agencies to trace the activity. Even though Bitcoin is traceable, criminals often use a series of different Bitcoin wallets to make it more difficult to track their activity. They also may take advantage of mixers or tumblers, which are services that mix up Bitcoin transactions, making it more difficult to trace where the money came from and who is receiving it. There are also those who would take advantage of people's ignorance of how Bitcoin works, creating scams and other fraudulent activities in order to gain money. For example, they may promise to pay out profits from a fake mining investment scheme, only to disappear with the funds when investors realize they have been duped. The anonymity of Bitcoin makes it hard for authorities to trace these fraudulent activities, so investors should always be wary of any opportunities that sound too good to be true. It is also important to remember that Bitcoin is still a relatively new technology and is not yet regulated by government or banking institutions, leaving users vulnerable to exploitation. Despite the potential for misuse, there are many ways in which Bitcoin can be used for legitimate purposes, and governments around the world are slowly taking steps to regulate it. It is important to be aware of the risks and take extra caution when dealing with cryptocurrencies. It is recommended to only use reputable exchanges and services that you trust. In addition, it is important to never share your private keys or passwords with anyone else. When using a wallet service provider, ensure that you have the necessary security measures in place such as multi-signature authentication. Furthermore, do your own research and never invest money that you cannot afford to lose.